in red base.
Nice, Martin. Lost one in red base.
What's up, Internet? This is Hourglass Gaming, and I want to start today's video by apologizing for how long it has taken for me to make a video since our last upload. Things got kind of crazy, first going home for the holidays, and then I work at a place that gets very busy around the start of a semester, and it took a little while to cool down after that, and just kind of, you know, like once you get out of the habit of doing something, then it's just kind of harder and harder to get back into it. But I'm back and I wanted to make a video. The content of today's video is gonna be the Halo 5 beta, which I know is a long past issue, but I recorded a bunch of gameplay from when it was going on, and it was something that I wanted to talk about and just like kind of never really had the time to get back into. So now that I have some time on my hands, I wanted to make a video about that. I know that it's like old news and that everyone has kind of already formed their opinions on how it went, but I want to talk about it, so that's what we're going to do. Basically, I was really happy with the Halo 5 beta. It exceeded my expectations and kind of got me pretty excited about Halo 5. I'm really excited to play the game. I think it's going to be a lot of fun when it comes out. I think the main thing was that it was still close to the core Halo experience while being new and interesting enough that it didn't feel like just a rehash of the exact same thing. It's pretty different from Halo 4's multiplayer, and I think that's a good choice. I think Halo 4 became like just a smidge too close to Call of Duty, and I think it's good that they kind of eased that back, got closer to the core Halo experience, and are kind of going in that direction more. And I think the thing that was really enjoyable about it for me was that it brought me back to like the origins of like my gaming experience. Like we had a Super Nintendo and a PlayStation 2 when I was a kid, and so, you know, those were like the first systems that I played on, but like the game that really inspired me was Halo. And I can remember like it was a kid's birthday and we went to his house and we played Capture the Flag, and then that night like we played Halo, and me and 3 other friends just played Halo till like 4 in the morning, and it was just this like amazing thing. And it actually took me like 3 more years to get an Xbox and be able to actually play Halo. But in the meantime, like my friends would come over and like they would bring their Xbox and we'd hook them up, and it was like at that time gaming with your friends was kind of this like ordeal where like everyone had to bring TVs and wires and cords and Xboxes and their own copies of games and controllers, and it was like a really difficult thing to get, you know, everyone gaming together. It was a lot harder back then than it is now. And so that's like a big feature of my childhood, and I think Halo 5 is true to that gameplay. I think it reminds me a lot of how the game played when it first came out, but it's a lot more fun, and it's not as clunky as it was, and it's a smooth, updated experience that is new enough that I feel like the series is progressing in terms of gameplay, but it's also true to that original experience, which I think is the real success of the game, or the beta. Oddly enough, I found the map design was okay. The 2 maps that I enjoyed the most were the 2 player-made featured maps, so I thought that was kind of funny. But I don't think the map design was like particularly amazing in any way, and so I think that could definitely be one area in which the game needs to improve upon before release. Like I was simply unimpressed with map design, and the one map that was like a ruined version of the Covenant ship, I really disliked that map. I don't know, the map design was just, it was okay. The other thing that I think is an issue is that I don't think the game modes that they're introducing do much to change up the way games are played. And the reason I bring this up is because I feel like a lot of games recently have been pushing to make game modes that really change the way first-person shooters play. If you look at something like Evolve, like it's still a first-person shooter, but it doesn't play like any other first-person shooter, and that's an effect of the different mode in which the game operates. Another example is Battlefield Hardline's Hotwire mode, which plays really differently from any other FPS game mode. And I think those modes are really exciting and offer really different ways to play a first-person shooter. But I didn't really see that in Halo. They introduced Breakout, which is their kind of competitive skirmish mode that has like real potential as an esport. But that doesn't really fundamentally change the way the game plays. You know, it's 4-on-4, no respawns, and it's round-based, which in essence is just like a higher stakes version of Team Deathmatch or Slayer. And so there wasn't anything where it was like, oh man, like this is a really new way to play a first-person shooter. Like, I didn't realize you could play it this way, or like, oh, this like totally changes things. Which I think was kind of disappointing, because it seems like a lot of other games are moving in that direction and like trying to shake up the genre. But with Halo, it was like you're still just a bunch of people running through corridors, shooting whatever you run into. Which is too bad, but in essence, I think it's just a solid game, and I think that's what's fun about it, is that like I know I'm gonna have a good time. With a lot of other games, it's like highly dependent on, you know, my opponents, or like in the Hardline beta, there would be times in Hotwire where I would get like isolated from kind of the rest of the conflict, and then I'd just be like running around trying to get back into the kind of flow of the game. And it's like if you fall out of that space, then it's like really hard to get back in. But with Halo, like, you know that your enemies are going to be close by, that you're going to be able to attack them, and that there's like smooth gameplay mechanics to facilitate those engagements, which I think is what's enjoyable about it. I think it's one of the things that I find enjoyable about Titanfall, is I know I can jump into a game of Titanfall and it's gonna be fun. Whereas with other games, it's like, I might have a great time, or it might suck. So I think that's one of the real benefits. I also really like the movement mechanics that have been put into the game, with the thruster packs and the ability to hover while aiming down sights, the ability to aim down sights, and the mantle. I think the mantle is such a ridiculously obvious thing that a first-person shooter needs. Like, there are so many times in past Halo games and nowadays in Destiny where I barely miss a jump, and it's like then I, you know, fall to my doom or whatever. And it's like, if you just had a button I could press to clamber up, then I'd be fine. So like, that was one of the things where I was like, oh man, like, this is a great innovation, even though it's so stupidly simple. And then I also think the thruster packs allow you to use the mechanics of the game in a little bit more complexity, instead of just kind of shooting each other and hoping that your weapon has the faster time to kill. So yeah, anyway, those are my opinions on the Halo 5 multiplayer beta. I know this video is like 2 months late to be interesting for that, but that's what we think. If you'd like to see more gameplay and commentary, don't forget to like and subscribe. As always, thank you for watching.